Today's topic will be on starting a career at Equinox, presented by Liz Minton. Liz is currently the Equinox Senior Director of Personal Training and Development and has over 17 years with the company in various roles. Equinox is a company with integrated luxury and lifestyle offerings centered on movement, nutrition, and regeneration. Equinox has more than 200 locations within every major city across the United States, and in addition, London, Toronto, and Vancouver. You'll learn about Equinox's philosophy and culture, what sets them apart from other fitness facilities, why Equinox likes to hire ACSM certifieds, and how you can get started in your career with Equinox. If you have any questions, please use the question function on GoToWebinar, and we'll get to your questions at the end of the webinar. Without further ado, Liz, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today. This is super. Equinox is so excited about our partnership with ACSM for so many reasons. And since it's a fairly new partnership, we wanted to take some time today to introduce ourselves and answer some questions. So we'll move on to today's agenda. I'm going to introduce Equinox at a high level, including a very important aspect of any organization, which is what we stand for. We'll then explore some highlights of EFTI, which is our in-house proprietary education system. We'll then see what career progression looks like at Equinox, and we'll review a few things that we look for in candidates who wish to apply for a personal training position. And hopefully we'll have time to answer some of your questions as you put them in the chat box. So moving on. Many of our internal meetings and presentations start with our mission statement, so I wanted to share that with you today. I think it's really important that you know the mission of the organization that you decide to work for. Although the look and feel of our mission statement has updated within the last year or so, the sentiment has been present since the beginning of the company, and I can, as Francis noted, can attest to that. I've been around a while. We've always believed in life maximization, both for our members and employees. And then how do we present ourselves daily and align as an organization? And that'll be on the next slide. We subscribe to these core values. And like our mission statement, these have been in existence since I started with Equinox. They got an updated look too within the last year or so. When you go on job interviews, whether it's Equinox or elsewhere, please be sure to ask for the mission statement and core values. It's important that you know the philosophy of the company and the behaviors that you're buying into, as well as what you can expect from all of your future colleagues. So let's take a look at where Equinox is these days. This graph, or this chart of the country map, I suppose, shows our projected footprint in 3 years' time. We have currently just under 100 clubs in most major markets, including London and Toronto. We have a highly motivated clientele that strives for and expects the best, and we have delivered on that expectation for the last 25 years. It's our objective to drive the brand, the experience, and results across all markets to create an unparalleled standard of excellence. Ongoing investment in our major markets, expanding into new locations, and broadening our portfolio of brands has led to tremendous growth. Equinox inspires people across the world to live a high-performance life and helps them achieve their goals. This is what we've pioneered for the last 25 years, and we're really positioned well to continue to lead the way. We've got a super exciting milestone this coming June. It marks our first hotel in New York City. And this edition helps underscore that we're the leaders in the high performance living space, as now we'll be able to help our hotel guests maximize movement, nutrition, and regeneration options when they travel. So before we move on to the personal training department, there's another important aspect of Equinox to mention, and that's our philanthropy. Our internal philanthropy department has partnered to help grow these 3 philanthropies. Our largest to date is Cycle for Survival, which is in partnership with Memorial Sloan Kettering, a major cancer center hospital in New York City. We have raised over $200 million to fund research into rare cancers, and we're super proud of that. This philanthropy was started in partnership with one of our members and her husband before she passed away from one of these rare cancers. So this has been years of emotion for Equinox, and we are so proud that we are able to support them. If you're interested, Cycle for Survival is taking place now across the country. If you're near an Equinox location, you might be able to jump in on one of the teams, or you may be able to even start a team of your own. So I highly advise going to Cycle for Survival for details. All right, so let's dive into our brand a little bit more and personal training philosophy. We're not an organization that chases fads. We believe in what we offer, and we offer it authentically. At Equinox, there are 3 elements that most powerfully drive results and optimize health. They are movement, nutrition, regeneration, and they're known in our halls as MNR. They're synergistic, fluid, dynamic, and we know that we need to strike the right balance for your body. That's where we come in, because we're the experts in creating those blueprints that build bodies primed for high performance life. Looking more specifically, movement is really how the body moves through space, and it's the foundation of almost everything in life. We feel that if you can master it, you can master anything. And we feel that there's certainly a difference between merely working out and training with purpose. Nutrition. We believe food is information. The nutrients you eat carry messages to your body's cells, which inform and affect things like performance, body chemistry, sleep, mindset, brain power, and appearance. But we also feel that nutrition should be individualized. There are many ways to eat well, and the key is finding the right way for you. Regeneration. We believe that regeneration is the conduit through which all change happens. It's just as crucial as training when it comes to achieving results and optimizing health. Physical recovery, mental balance, and adequate sleep enhance the nervous system's ability to relax and control the body's vital functions, allowing the body to accept new stimuli and ultimately produce results. Moving on, I'm confident that those of you on this call will appreciate that we're an organization that has sought independent validity of our approach. In conjunction with UCLA's David Geffen School of Medicine, we participated in groundbreaking research focused on the movement principle. In 2014, we completed a first-of-its-kind study designed to evaluate the effectiveness of Equinox's program design methodology, which in short is periodization. If you want to check out the research, I highly recommend it, but spoiler alert here, those who trained with a trainer on a periodized program got results versus those who didn't. I'm sure many of you are thinking right now, like, go figure. Okay, let's talk about how we function as a department and the tiers of trainers. We have 5 tiers of trainers. Trainers are promoted to higher tiers as they advance at Equinox Fitness Training Institute, EFTI, which, as I mentioned before, is our proprietary education program. At every tier, a trainer gains cumulative knowledge to expand their expertise. How quickly you move depends on your starting point. Those with degrees and certifications generally do well with challenging our fast track exams and start, at tier 2 or tier 3. What we'll then do is help you backfill any of our proprietary education to Equinox, things like our program design, flexibility, business sales, etc. And then just a quick understanding for you, how you'll grow through the tiers. When you're a new trainer, irrespective of tier, or at tier 1, we help you get established with skills like performing our fitness assessment, FMS, functional movement screen, our service model, business, sales, and of course, the foundation of concepts like anatomy, kinese, program design, etc. At the tier 2 level, program design is further developed at an intermediate level, reinforced by an in-depth knowledge of advanced exercise science, musculoskeletal pathologies, and special populations. Tier 3 trainers set their sights on starting to move into the coach category by completing the Precision Nutrition Level 1 coursework, focusing on behavior change in nutrition. And then Tier 3 Plus trainers have completed that certification, complementing their knowledge of optimized physical conditioning and performance. Tier X trainers have fully transformed from trainer to coach, having completed a curriculum centered on lifestyle management and advanced teaching skills. They've reached the pinnacle of the world's most advanced health and wellness coaching. They are true ambassadors for the M&R lifestyle to clients, members, and colleagues. It's also worth mentioning that during the EFTI curriculum, there's ample opportunity to learn more both inside and outside of Equinox. Inside of Equinox, many continuing ed opportunities are provided at no cost to our trainers, and those that do cost are at a discount and through payroll deduction to help you manage your cash flow. Okay, moving on to a career. So one of the best aspects of a personal training career at Equinox, it doesn't end on the gym floor if you don't want it to. In everything we do, we're preparing trainers for next steps in their careers. Personal growth and development keep our trainers engaged, passionate, and poised for challenges. We have a growing footprint, as I mentioned before, with opportunity and industry influence. There's never really been a better time to be part of the Equinox team. When I used to coach trainers as to how they wanted to grow years ago, I only really had very linear growth paths for them. Now it's crazy, the things that I've seen talented trainers do and become through our organization, which is just so great to see that talent explode. It's worth noting that each of the career paths that I'll discuss here are part of your support network when you start at Equinox, and will continue to be along the way, ultimately also then something you can grow into. So starting at the bottom there, master instructor. If you love training, and you have a passion for teaching, and you want to pursue the science of M&R, you can become an in-house master instructor for EFTI classes. This is a great additional responsibility of our top trainers who want to serve as an internal content expert, leader, and role model for evolving trainers. A fitness manager, each personal training team is led by 2 managers, and that's also something to think about as you decide where you want to work, how much support, how many people are going to be dedicated to making sure you're successful. We have 2 leading each personal training team at each club. So the fitness manager supports your educational pursuits as well as program design and client acquisition. The fitness manager is most closely tied to a new trainer's ramp-up period because we know that it can be stressful as you're trying to navigate a new company, a new job, a new culture, and so we want to make that as seamless as possible. So the FM is dedicated primarily to our new trainers, but certainly is there to help our senior trainers grow also. The personal training manager supports the business of the entire club, and this is the person managing the bottom line and driving the personal training business. Think of this role as a blend of motivational leadership, sales acumen, and the ability to command the respect of the team. We do have a manager in training program, so you don't just wake up one day trainer and the next day a manager. That would be very confusing. So we help you make that adjustment. And the program is specifically tailored to develop successful trainers into managers. And we prepare our MITs, managers in training, to pursue both roles, the FM and the PTM. Multi-unit PT manager are PT managers who demonstrate that they can develop individual talent, grow teams, and establish top-performing cultures. And they can earn several different positions managing multiple clubs. And the number ranges from where you would get your start managing 1 other club, so 2 total. And that can go up to a regional, which could be somewhere between 7, 8, 9. We try to keep it somewhere reasonable clubs. So it's very exciting, the growth opportunity there. And then if as a trainer, you're going to have a unique view of how your clubs are operated and managed. And if you become passionate about operations and flawless execution of the member experience, you could definitely become a general manager, in the operations route. We have seen several trainers go this route, and then up through the ranks in the operations side, and they do really super well. Okay, moving on. Last but certainly not least, as a member of the Equinox team, you're entitled to the following benefits that are shown on this slide. I strongly suggest you ask about these types of things when you go on job interviews with any future employer. One thing not mentioned here, but I'm sure is on your mind, is compensation. We offer highly competitive compensation as well as bonuses for performance, for client acquisition, and client retention. We have trainers that make over 100K annually on a consistent basis. They're going to be trainers at the higher tiers who have cultivated a loyal client base through dedication, hard work, and consistently showing value every single session. We have many trainers who have trained clients for years and years and years, and they treat it like it's their first session every time in terms of the value that they bring and how they show up every day. Okay, so what does Equinox look for when a candidate applies to be a personal trainer? Some of the main things we look for are listed here. Notice that the first 4 bullets point to what may be considered, soft skills. I actually recently saw an article with a call to stop calling these types of skills soft, because they're actually super important, especially in business where you are consistently interacting with people. We sometimes joke, that it's called personal training after all, emphasis on personal. So as for certifications, we allow 90 days post-hire to become nationally certified, but most of you on this call have probably already checked that box or plan to. Between a national cert and degree, it's highly likely that you will start at a higher tier level after challenging the fast track exam, which I mentioned before. I do want to say that if you're looking at the first bunch of soft skills there, and you don't know how you stack up on some of them, that's okay, because we have a total support system and education to help you with those soft skills too. So don't freak out. Just think, okay, this is someone who is acknowledging that there is the personal training. We know what that should feel like for our demographic, and we will help you get there for sure. To note, and this is important for any of you who are not yet seeking full-time employment, we have a very well-established intern program and can easily establish a relationship with your school if one does not already exist. We've been doing this for years. We have this down pat. You can definitely find more information on Equinox's career website, and I'll show you that in a moment. So before we open things up for Q&A, I wanted you to meet 2 of your fellow ACSM cert holders, Claudia and Stan. In short, they are both crushing it at Equinox. They are true professionals who are on top of their game, award winners, committed to investing in their teams, the trainers that they teach and that they instruct. Apologies that the bios are kind of small on here. The funny thing is I had to cut out a bunch of lines in terms of things they've accomplished, but I wanted you to feel good about what some of your ACSM colleagues are doing. I know that ACSM trainers thrive in our environment because they hold themselves to high academic and professional standards and are curious learners, always pushing the envelope to discover more. And Claudia and Stan are just 2 examples of ACSM certified trainers who are really setting the high bar at Equinox. So I think last slide here, there's certainly a lot more to learn about Equinox, and I encourage you to go to our website and explore. Better yet, start the application process to speak to one of our all-star recruiters and learn more through the interview process. The websites that you see listed here, the first one is the personal training department page on the Equinox career website. On that website, you can also apply for and read about an internship. The ACSM specific link is where you go to apply if you're ready to get things rolling straight away. If there's a specific region listed in there on that link, don't worry if it's not where you want to apply. The recruiter from the appropriate region will reach out to you. Just please make sure that you make your preferences in terms of region and club clear. So I guess with that, I'll turn things back to Francis to answer questions if we have some.
Hey Liz, it's Francis. Thank you so much for that presentation. It was awesome to hear you walk through those. Yeah, we have a couple questions, but I actually have a couple questions for you first before we get to those ones.
Great.
I guess the first one is what really gets you up in the morning to get to Equinox and kind of to get started with your day?
You know what's in the mission of what we do. So I am so fortunate in the fact that over the years, I started as a trainer after a career change, and about 2 years in, I got into management. So the balance of my career, I've been in a position where I have been able to read and experience and speak to and physically see the changes that our trainers create for people in their life. And, you know, some of them are beyond emotional in terms of the things that we are able to do to change and transform people's lives. And there are so many that I won't even sort of go into them at this point, but any goal is worth it. And, you know, whether someone is going to feel better because aesthetically they look better, or if we can bring somebody back after an injury or a disease, or if we can help a 70-year-old have more stamina to run after their grandkids, it's incredible. So to see that and to be able to help, I look at all of our trainers and our managers as change agents. And so to be in a position where I can support those change agents, whether it's through education or approach or thought process or philosophy, is a blessing. And so that's what gets me out of bed in the morning.
That's awesome. So there's a couple questions that are coming in, and one of the first ones is related to internships. So I'll kind of lump these together a little bit. So the first one is when you apply for an Equinox internship, how long does it typically take to hear back?
It's not going to take long at all. Probably within a day or two. We have one person dedicated to internships, and she is on it. So it would be strange if you did not hear within a day or two, and the only reason that would be is because she's on vacation.
Okay. Along the same lines, in terms of internships, does Equinox have internships in the DC metro area?
Yes.
Okay, let's see here. Another question is, how long does it typically take for someone to move from tier 1 to a tier X? And then there's a
great question.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, I've seen it. I think in Stan's bio, it said that he got there in 2 years, but he was coming in with a degree and ACSM certified. So, you know, I think that the content alone that you have to go through for Tier X is 6 months, and you do that, you know, while you're working with your clients, etc. The instructors, they're world-class educators that we bring in to instruct the Tier X coaches, and so that alone is a 6-month process. So, I would say that 2 years is running a fast clip, maybe 2.5, 3, more realistically, even if you were to start, you know, at one of those higher tier levels. But that's just, I'm ballparking it. So don't, you know, if you come in and you crush it, you can move quick. We are not about holding people back.
That totally makes sense. And I think we had a really good conversation about the combination of both education experience and certifications, and how that you really kind of leads you into your different tiers. And one of the questions that we got was, is it possible to get hired at a higher tier if you come in with additional experience?
It's not, the additional experience is probably just going to help you with the fast track exams. We have the guardrails for us for tier advancement are the fast track exams. What will help you get move up if you have additional or previous experience is you're probably going to hit the ground faster than someone who's brand new. I think about how if I were to go back on the floor and take clients, how I would do things very, very different than when I was brand new. So if you've already, you've probably already figured that out if you have experience. So some of the criteria from going, for example, from tier 2 to tier 3 is productivity based. It's not all education based. There is a productivity one there. So that would help you get through the ranks faster, but not initially.
Okay. Another question is in terms of full-time and part-time employment. Does Equinox offer part-time employment?
Conceptually, it's yes. It's slightly tricky because we do need to get you educated. So that you're in line with our philosophy and what we feel is important for all of our trainers to know. So what I mean by that is, each situation is different on that front. If you can attend the classes and make it work as part of the whole part-time thing, then it's more likely that we would be able to take you on. If you are in school for the field, that is definitely a scenario where we make adjustments on our expectations for time. Hopefully that answers the question. It's a bit tricky because of our commitment and standard of education that we can't make adjustments on. That's where it just is an individualized situation.
Okay. I have two questions. I'm trying to kind of put them together a little bit. So one of them is, what areas are super important for Equinox to hire? There's a couple of questions about locations like DC, Philadelphia, but where's Equinox looking to hire in right now? And if they aren't hiring in particular locations, should they still apply for a job? So that's kind of like a two-part question.
Sure. We are looking to hire everywhere. We are always looking for talent. We are always looking to grow. If you don't see something on our career website for the specific club or region you want to work in, apply anyway. Yes, we are always looking to grow for sure. We can always find spots for great talent. Philadelphia, I'm happy to hear that. I'm from Philadelphia originally. I cannot wait until we get down there. I don't have a date on that right now, but I know that some of our other brands are down there right now, so they're blazing the path for us. And definitely, you mentioned DC area, we're definitely hiring down there.
The other question is in terms of splitting within the Equinox kind of brand, I guess when they're getting hired, group acts, personal training, etc. Where's kind of the split of your typical hires?
In terms of a trainer interest, like doing other things, or yeah.
So like if Equinox is hiring, is it like 50% personal trainers? Is it kind of group acts? Do you like hiring somebody that can do both? What does it look like?
Yeah, well, it's, you know what, our group fitness is some of the best in the world. It's why our members by and large join us as our classes, and it's run, that department is run so well. So we are collaborative but separate. we have seen many personal trainers build a business from getting hired as a trainer, getting themselves educated through EFTI, and then auditioning with the group fitness to start running classes, particularly some of the ones that are more strength training based. It's just a natural, carryover from our inherent skill set. So what's great about that is not only as a trainer are you meeting, members on the gym floor and elsewhere, but then you can infiltrate the classes and, take that group setting into a one-on-one setting. So, I would say probably the move would be to apply to personal training first and get yourself integrated at the club level, make connections with the group fitness manager, take the classes, etc., and then make yourself known as someone who's interested.
Awesome. And there was one last question. I know we're running out of time here. One last question is, what characteristics do you look for in somebody who's successful at Equinox?
Well, I think a majority of them, truthfully, were listed before on the previous slide. In terms of even what we look for as a candidate, we would really just expect that to continue across, even as you make yourself part of the culture. We look for those who are psyched about the team aspect. We look for those who are intellectually curious. We want to make sure it's that there's honesty and integrity. We want to make sure that you are psyched about fitness. And that sounds kind of crazy, but I've seen some trainers who don't exude that excitement and energy, and unfortunately they might be really super smart, but they don't do particularly well. We really want people who care, because this is, as I mentioned before, what gets me out of bed is these life transformation stories. And if you don't care and you're not genuine in how you care about people and your ability to transform their life, it's probably going to fall flat. And so, those are the types of things, the hard work, like exactly here, friendly and enthusiastic go-getters, those who care, those are going to be your most successful. We know over time we can teach the sciences to those who, need the help. We can teach the advanced stuff, but we can't teach you to care necessarily. And that we can show you we can explain and help you develop how to show it. But if it's not really there, I don't know that we can teach that. So those are the successful characteristics, I would say.
That's awesome. And thank you so much for doing this presentation. I have a ton of other questions that are coming in. I'll send that over to you, Liz, and then what you can do is you can respond to those when you have a moment, and then we'll post them up on our certification blog. I wanted to personally thank you again. This has been awesome, and our students and faculty always ask us for insights from a career development standpoint, and you certainly hit all those marks.
Thank you so much for allowing us the platform to talk about our partnership and the great opportunity. We want more change agents. We want more ACSM trainers to come on board so we can help them maximize their life and opportunities, and we're excited to get the ball rolling. So thank you.
Thank you.